Racing takes place out at the Vaal on Thursday. We've got 8 races on the program. Race number 1 set to get underway at 12:45. We begin with a maiden juvenile plate over 1,200 meters. And joining me on the line is Alistair Cohen. And Alistair, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Raheel. All good. Obviously been in Joburg for the last couple of days. It's been lovely weather. Gearing up for the sales, which isn't too far away. And obviously champion season is also starting to dawn. Some lovely racing on Monday at Hollywoodbets Greyville, where Drakenstein captured both the feature races through Green Sapphire and Oxalis Gold, both fillies as well. So a lot going on at the moment. And I'd like to say more good than bad.
Yep, certainly the case indeed. And race number 1, let's get into it. We've got joint favourites at the time of recording. Number 2, Lava County, and number 4, Secret Warrior, both trading at 7-2. You can get 4-1 about number 6, Time Will Tell, number 7, Tin Pan Alley, and number 8, Scarlet Heart. It is double figure odds about the balance. Race number 1, start off the bipot. What's your thoughts here?
Let's start with Candace's runner. He's a live chance, number 2, Lava County. Expecting more on debut, but he drifted off the boards from 13-2 to 14-1. He ran 8.5 lengths behind King Harold, who was desperately unlucky in the South African nursery over the weekend. He'll take a big step forward. His work going into the first start was good. His work going into the second start is also good. He stayed on nicely. He probably is looking for a little bit further. Gavin Larena takes the ride. Optimistic that he'll get into the mix. Wouldn't take a bet on him, although he might be good enough to do the job. The expectations are that he'll go very well, but definite top 3 claims. What's interesting here about number 4, Secret Warrior, is that we've got Mr. Wilson running later on the card, and he's the only horse that's been supported at the time of recording, plus he's the first 2-year-old, we'll get to that, first 2-year-old to mix it against older company, so we'll learn a lot more about that form before Mr. Wilson runs, but he's obviously got to be a live chance. Just take note, this is 1,200 metres on the Vaal Classic track, so draw 8 is not perfect. Looking further down the page, I think there are a few horses that could very well get involved here. The last run, number 6, Time Will Tell, was very encouraging, finishing second to One Fine Winter. One Fine Winter was a fluent second over the weekend in the South African fillies nursery. If he confirms that improvement, he could be a player as well, number 6, Time Will Tell, but the debut run was very ordinary, so he learns a lot from run 1 to run 2. And then number 3, Sakatini, the son of Danon Fatina, out of the very good mare Jim Fizz, could also have a lot of improvement to come, but the draw is not ideal, so he might be 1 run premature, but I definitely expect him to go a little bit closer. In order of preference, I'm actually going to go 2 from 4, and I'd probably go box swingers to kick off the day. 2, 4, 6 and 3 I think are the winning chances in the opener.
Yeah, 4 horses to play around here in race number 1. Race number 2 next up. This is a start off the place accumulator. 1 is the off time. 1,200 meters the trip. It is a maiden juvenile plate for fillies. Joint favourites, number 2, Captain Salvi, and number 4, Inspiration at 2-1. Number 5, Miss Novaks at 33-10. It's 4-1 about number 7, Open Sesame. It's then 10-1 and Better Baldos. Now, Alistair, you expect there to be speed upon speed here with number 2, Captain Salvi, who's the half sister to Sarah, Celtic Rumours, and the talented Almond C. And she debuts for Muzieni and Tony Peter. Interesting that she's going over 1,200 meters first time out.
Yeah, very much so, because you wouldn't anticipate Captain of All to suddenly throw a little bit of stamina into the works. I'm a big Captain of All fan for what it's worth, and if you consider that the family are all 1,000-metre specialists, again, eliminating Celtic Rumours, who was a well above average middle distance horse, but certainly the ones that Paul and Tony Peter have trained have been 1,000-metre specialists, and here we have Captain Salvi making a debut over 1,200 metres. This is a race that won't take much winning, Raheel. There's not much depth of form. Just referring to number 9, Wings of Ice, who ran a reasonable 5th on debut behind Clairwood Rose. Let's bear in mind that Clairwood Rose went off at 100-1 on debut, so I think that puts the form line under the spotlight, and I don't think there's too much going on here. So the way that I read it is that number 2, Captain Salvi, doesn't have to be too good to win, but I know number 4, Inspiration, quite well from Cape Town, having had 2 starts. In fact, both her runs, she just looked wet behind the ears, but she's got a lovely action about her, and I think the more she races, and I think coming away from that sort of that hugely competitive feature race environment that Inspiration was on at the start of her career. And that's not taking anything away from the Joburg horses. Just the time of year dictates that the Cape 2-year-olds are ready to go. Early doors, now the Joburg horses will be getting ready to go, and soon the horses based in Durban will be ready to go. It's just the environment that Inspiration found herself in at the start, being part of Sean Terry's travelling party. I'm going to venture that she's the horse to beat. The form of the Western Cape Fillies Nursery, the race won by Director, that is working out very nicely with 2 direct winners straight from it. And I like what I've seen. Just as the individual in the flesh. The place accumulator is my suggested bet on the card, and I'm opening up with a banker. I like the form that Sean Terry's in. I always get excited when Kamalo rides for Terry as well. So I think there's a lot going for Inspiration. And just to recommend even further, those 2 winners from the form include Good For You, who finished 5 lengths in front of Inspiration, and Pay the Palace, who finished behind Inspiration. And I thought won a fair maiden in Hollywoodbets Durbanville a little less than a month ago. So I think it all bodes well. Inspiration for me, the horse to beat, and I think that she'll take a lot of beating, to be fair, unless Captain Salvia is above average.
Yep, 2-1 could be a nice price then about number 4, Inspiration, based on the last form line in the Cape Nursery. Moving along to race number 3. This is a maiden plate over 2,400 meters, and this is certainly a race that's not going to take a lot of winning, and not the greatest deal of form on offer here in the third race at 13.55. Chieftain Shield and Heroic Act, both from the Tyrone Zaki yard, are your joint favourites here at 28-10. Number 1, Santiago's Pride at 7-2, along with number 3, Mun's Night. It's double figure odds about the balance. Now this horse, Heroic Act, he showed improvement out of nowhere last time out when finishing second at 100-1 in the market. And he gets the services of Neva Nastili once again. He steps up in distance. Alistair, what do you make of this race here?
It's a race for horses that'll never win a race. Someone's going to win, so it's a credit to the owners and the trainers for persisting, because this is the opening that one of them is going to get. You start off at number 2, Heroic Act, Raheel. It's probably a fair place to start on the run to instant attraction, which was just a week ago. Heroic Act finished in front of Chieftain Shield, stopped the traffic, Mun's Night and Gold de Grace. There was 6 lengths between all 5 runners. There's no pure evidence of what the horse is in behind did to turn that form around. It was also Heroic Act's first run after a break, but it was remarkable improvement. Where that came from, probably just being given 6 months off to mature. I think the fact that he's a well-tried 12-start maiden, but only a 3-year-old, maybe everything was just thrown at him a bit too early and lost a little bit of his zest. But the break has done him a world of good, obviously. So I think he's a good starting point. Number 2, Heroic Act, on the back of a £12 penalty for being a loser. If he were to win, I think he'd be danger signs straight out of a maiden until he's back in the 60s. With that said, he's got a great chance here. The backup, though, there's no way that he's a good thing. The backup, though, is 3 Mun's Night and 4 Chieftain Shield. The reason why I put up Mun's Night, first of all, he's a half-brother, still an entire. He's a half-brother to Mel Moose, and also one more star. He would have needed his last run coming back from quite a long break. He didn't run too badly behind instant traction at the second best 400 to finish, so for what that's worth, maybe the extra 400 metres, if he's ready for it now, will suit. Tamango Kamalo takes it right. He's ridden this horse before. In fact, he's ridden this horse best. And then number 4, Chieftain Shield. Wherever those 2 are, Chieftain Shield shouldn't be too far away. He tries the trip for the first time. He's got the running style that probably suits most. We know Tyrone Zaki gets them fit, but that comment applies for numbers 2 and 4, and Chieftain Shield not one to take lightly either. So 2, 3 and 4, I'd probably settle on those numbers in the pick 6 as well. I can't see anything else getting in here. Maybe number 1, Santiago's Pride, at a stretch, but that best run was second at Hollywoodbets Greyville, and that is a very average piece of form. Since going back home, he's not quite done much.
Yep, that is race number 3. Not going to take a lot of winning in this contest. Next up, race number 4, the start of Jackpot 1. Half past 2 is the off time. 1,600 meters is the distance. It's the middle stakes. Number 3, Francine, your favorite at 7-2. 4-1 about number 4, Command Pilot. Number 2, Zuzan. Number 6, Miss Hannigan. It's 11-2 about number 8, Mount Darwin. 6-1, number 1, Silent War. And number 7, Royal Edition. And then the only horse in double figures is number 5, Johnny Hero, trading at 33-1. Quite a competitive looking contest here over the mile trip. It's a middle stakes, and we know that these conditions of fans, they favour the fillies.
I absolutely. The best way to Coleman shows you that with Francine and Miss Hannigan joined off at net 105 according to the conditions of the race. Raheel, of all the races on the card, this is the one I'm most dicey about. I've got 2 runners in the place accumulator. Need a lot more in the pick 6. Those 2 runners are numbers 2 and 3. To suggest that one of them is a good thing would be silly. Let's start with Susan. Susan, I think, punched above his weight last time. He got the best of Artist Model, giving him a bit of weight. Craig Zaki takes a ride, draw 1. All of that's going to be a big advantage. He's a well-tried horse. He puts his heart and soul. He's got form and reasonable form. I know in receipt of weight to the likes of main defender in Melek. Melek was not disgraced on the computer form sprint. I think 1,000 meters too short for him. And I think sort of those single stands at the end of the month, maybe even Hollywoodbets Scottsville, races like that, Melek could be dangerous for a top 4 position in those races. But still, form to main defender does stand out. Like I said, he's well tried, the son of Admiral Kitten. He's a win away from racking up double figures. He's a player. And I remember going into that last start, Artist Model had the benefit of a run under the belt that was horribly wet in Joburg at the time. Still, well, wet at the time of recording is actually a beautiful day. And there's been no rain since Friday night. But with that said, the sting's still very much in the ground. But Artist Model came in a relatively fit horse on the back of a 1-week break, whereas no one had worked for a good 2 weeks going into that. So it was no mean feat from Susan beating Artist Model on that occasion. So the fact that he's such a trier, he automatically gets an inclusion. And then number 3, Francine. Is she a genuine miler? She ran last time like she is. She's interestingly bred by Silvano, which indicates stamina, but out of the mare Franny, who was a very forward 2-year-old and an out-and-out sprinter who ran the colours of Maritz Fantina, was trained by Gavin van Zyl. Gavin Larina takes her out at number 3, Francine. If she is going to get a mile, this is the time to show it. She's got very compelling form over shorter. I know last time she obviously tried the trip, etc., etc. She was not disgraced. She's worth another chance, number 3, Francine, but I'm still not 100% convinced. If she won, I'd be okay. I'd be proud of myself. But if she went totally missing, I'd know what the excuse would be. We're going back to 1,400 meters or down the straight, and she'll continue to win races. But from there, it opens up. Silent Wars 2 from 2 on the Vaal Classic track. Full Command Pilot was a short head away from making it into my play. He coming back from a break, but Pomodoro's Jet's done that. Wolf Power form Justice. Truth is one of mine, a feature from that form line as well. So all of that stacks up well for Command Pilot. And I just want to give a mention for Alec Laird. For me, pound for pound, without a shadow of doubt, the trainer of the season thus far, with a few months left to go. Miss Hannigan can't take lightly. Real Editions dangerous from the front, gets Musi on board. Mount Darwin can also pop up. It's a very, very tricky race. PA are settled on 2 and 3. Bipod, you'll definitely need to include number 4, maybe one other, but pick 6 as far as the budget stretches.
Yeah, it's looking a bit like a field race here in race number 4 on the program, barring Johnny Hero. Race number 5, this is the next race. It is the start of Jackpot 2. It is an MR72 handicap over 1,000 meters. And as Alistair touched on earlier, the first 2-year-old to be taking on older horses, Mr. Wilson, 6-10 in the market. So 7-10 into 6-10. Sakala Escatulo at 5-1. 7-1 Captain Efficient, it's 8-1. And Better Bar Those. Alistair, he comes in with a rating of 83. 55.5 kgs on the back. Gavin Larina's plus a half there. But what do you think of his chances? Could this just be the right race for him?
Okay, so this is what I'm going to put up. Yes, he's a huge chance. He's my top selection. Let's also bear in mind that with number 5, Mr. Wilson, the rules of 2-year-olds taking on older opposition, they can only take on older opposition from the 1st of April. So it's a complete unknown. Gavin Larina dropping down to 55.5 to ride number 5. Mr. Wilson's got to be a big positive. Nyaka coming out and franking the form, beating a highly rated horse, also got to be a positive. He's the top choice. He could be anything. He could also go totally missing. You can't bank him in anything. The horse that you back him up with is number 4, Captain Efficient. High number draw down the straight on the Vaal Classic track is gold. Musi, and he takes a ride. Underachiever in that he's a one-time winner, but lovely to follow in that he just runs honest race after honest race. So they're the only 2 horses I want the scratching. And number 2, Lonely as a Cloud, probably simplifies a little bit more. Unhappy with 4 and 5 in the place accumulator. If you're looking for an alternative, that alternative would come from number 8, Pala Millions, but he would be a little bit of a stretch.
Yep, number 5, Mr. Wilson. You in his camp, or you looking for a bit of cover here in race number 5? Currently trading at 6 to 10, and let's see how it all unfolds. Next up will be race number 6 on the program, and race number 6 gets underway at 15:40, 1,000 meters a trip. It's a fillies and mares 92 handicap. Favorite here, number 6, Virgin River, trading at 14 to 10. Night Vigil at 3 to 1, 4 to 1, Kia Kaha, 8 to 1, number 5, Mist in Scotland. It's 10 to 1 and better bar those. Now, Night Vigil won a nice race last time out in the Bohemia handicap, and she's subsequently gone up only 3 points for that. But with the 4 kgs off the back, Alistair, that could make a big difference, especially if this young apprentice can get her into a nice rhythm early on, and she could certainly shape up as the horse that they all need to beat her.
She's my second banker in the place accumulator. A heel, Garissimo Bertia takes the ride down the straight. You just got to point in the right direction. She was carded to run in a minor feature at the start of March, middle of March, and she was scratched due to a high temperature. She's back. I think Stuart Pettigrew struck gold with a 4 kilo claim, because there's a lot of Night Vigil form here, and she's got them all held by virtue of a 4 kilo claim. So from that point of view, I think she'll be very hard to beat. I think the biggest clue comes on Christmas Eve when she beat Virgin River, Kia Kaha, You Bring Me Joy, and Mist in Scotland, and she comes in here very, very well treated. So hopefully she can just go the right way and quicken like she can, and I think she's also got a little bit in hand as far as the handicapper is concerned. Pick 6, the only horse that I'd want to back her up with is number 6, Virgin River. That was a confidence boosting win from her last time out, but PA, I'm happy to bank her 1.
Yeah, number 1, Night Vigil, currently at 3 to 1 in the market, and the top pick in the 6th race. Race number 7 next up, an ultimate race on the program, and it's set to be run over 1,000 meters. It's an MR 106 handicap. 4:15 is the off time. Favorite, number 7, One Fell Swoop at 7 to 2. 4 to 1 about number 8, Mount Pinatubo. 4 to 1 number 9, Yamadori. 6 to 1 number 5, Troppo Veloce, and number 4, Cosmic Star. It's 10 to 1 and better bar those. Number 11, Address the Nation, is scratched. What's your thoughts here on race number 7, Alistair, over the 1,000 meter trip? This was Mount Pinatubo. He hasn't been seen in a while, but a horse that's certainly got quite a lot of ability. And then one fell swoop, if Night Vigil happens to win the previous race, well, that just enhances the form even more.
Yeah, quite right, Raheel. It's a very complicated race, this. It's complicated for the right reasons. I've got 3 horses in my PA. There are numbers 1, 8 and 10. There's no way I'm leaving out One Fell Swoop and the pick 6, and there's a few others that I think warrant consideration, like number 5, Troppo Veloce, and even number 4, Cosmic Star, and number 2, Ready to Charge, if not in need of the run. All horses that probably enter sort of wider perms. But I'm going to have an each-way bet on a horse here, Raheel. I like a horse at a big price, 16 to 1. Number 10, Don't Shoot the Barman. That's my big money making play in the race. If he ran into the top 3, I'll be more than satisfied. He's in my place accumulator. Stuck on the wrong side of the track last time in the JJ, the Jet Plane Stakes, when never really getting a blow in. We saw William Robertson win the computer form sprint in sensational style. High number draw down the straight. The run to Yamadori, this penultimate starts on the 15th of February, puts him ahead of Yamadori to the tune of 4 kilograms for less than 2 lengths. I think all the value here is with Don't Shoot the Barman, and even going back to the Golden Loom on the 2nd of November, Don't Shoot the Barman's very, very nicely treated. So I think this is a huge chance now with just the pure barrier positions being in his favour. 8, Mount Pinatubo, very nice horse. If he's not in need of the run, he probably the horse that I'd tip on top, to be fair. Samango Kamalo takes the ride. That could be a clue in itself, with Johan having quite a few runners. And then number 1, Chasing Happiness, Stratum's 1 from 1. He was poetic when he won on her in September. She's a good filly. She's got some black type. She's alive. She runs well fresh as well. So number 1, Chasing Happiness, just another horse to consider. So 1 and 8 probably the most likely here, but 10 run into the top 3, more than happy, and be a little bit of extra cash in the pocket. 16 to 1 the price, about the 10 horse Don't Shoot the Barman. Nice find. Could be one of those nice finds on the day from Alistair. Final race on the day, race number 8, 16:50 is the off time, and it's set to be run over 1,000 meters. Fillies and mares 75 handicap. 4 to 1 number 4, My One and Only. 9 to 2 about number 2, Omnipotent. It is 5 to 1 about Lady of Memphis. Number 9, Heirloom at 5 to 1. 6 to 1 number 6, Lady of Arc. 12 to 1 and better bar those. Final leg of the pick 6 place accumulator. How many numbers do you think the guys need? Depends how you read it. Raheel, I'm pretty strong on a horse here. It's number 1, Lady of Memphis. Lucky Udalarkus trains. Craig Zaki takes a ride. Tongue tie comes off. Penultimate start. 3 lengths to Green Sapphire. Horses raced 100. Just less than 100. We're running that margin to Green Sapphire on Monday. And last time I thought the run behind Virgin River was fair. And Virgin River runs a division stronger 2 races earlier. And also formed to Forever in My Dreams. Handicap has dropped to £3. I think she's going to take a lot of beating, number 1, Lady of Memphis. And when I look at my PA numbers, I've got one other horse in the PA. The more I look at this, the more I think number 1, Lady of Memphis is going to be very, very, very hard to beat. I think that she's very well looked after. We know that Lucky Hudalakas at the Vaal, although he's a beast all over the country, he's a different beast at the Vaal. So number 1, Lady of Memphis, a clear top choice. The backup, and it's probably pure sentiment rather than logic. Number 2, Omnipotent, a good win last time over Green Extreme, who's also trained by Lucky. The only reason why I've got Omnipotent in is because in the last 12 months, Gavin Lorena's 3 from 3 on Diane Sting. And I think this daughter of One World, who's related to King of the Gauls, might have a little bit more to come off an opening mark of 79. I think that she'll run fairly well, and if Lady of Memphis does fluff her lines, Omnipotent could be the one to pick up the pieces. I'm going to make a case for all the others. The Golden Oldies, Heirloom, I think, might have some sort of each-way chance. Dancing Door is better than what she's putting together lately. So they're all horses to put into the mix. Even number 4, Mile 1 and Only, back to 1,000 metres, could also grow an extra leg under straight and with a tongue tie on. But I'm very strong on number 1, Lady of Memphis, but an honourable mention for number 2, Omnipotent.
Yeah, 6-1, Lady of Memphis, and that could be a nice find there in the final race on the day. Alistair mentioned that she could be very hard to oppose here in the 8th race if all things go according to plan. We're going to move along to the suggested bet now. Alistair will take us through suggested bet. Place accumulator for the race meeting on Thursday out at the Vaal, and it all begins with the running of race number 2 at 1. Alistair, take it away.
Just having a look here, 6-1. She is 2, Lady of Memphis. That's incredible. All right, PA gets underway at 1, as you mentioned. Open up with Bank Your 4, Inspiration. By 2, 3, and 4, Heroic Act, Man's Night, and Chieftain Shield. By 2 and 3, Zuzan and Francine. Then 4 and 5, those are Captain Efficient and Mr. Wilson. Banker 1, Night Vigil. By 1, 8, and 10, Chasing Happiness, Mount Pinatubo, and Don't Shoot the Barman. And then 1 and 2 at the back, Lady of Memphis and Omnipotent. And I think the place accumulator and Barpot are the 2 exotics to get stuck into. I think the pick 6, if you're chasing a dividend, the pick 6 is going to pay very handsomely on this card because you're looking at a result in races 4 and 7.
That is the suggested bet for racing out at the Vaal on Thursday. Alistair, thanks very much. All the very best. Have a wonderful week ahead.
Cheers, Raheel. Same to you. Same to all the viewers. I'm looking forward to catching up soon.
All the best for racing on Thursday out at the Vaal.